Welcome to 2016. This is Chops and Pops. I am Andy.
And I'm still Andrew.
And I'm still Shane.
This is it. This is what you've been waiting for. What better way to end 2015 and make our way into 2016 than to discuss the best matches?
Talk about all the good stuff.
Everything that was great about 2015 wrestling.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because on a week-to-week basis, some of the stuff can kind of suck or be boring. You know, we only talk about the past 7 days. Now we're talking about the entire year. So we're only talking about the cream of the crop.
And the cream rises?
Yeah, Savage would say.
Oh, yeah.
Word up.
So, we're going to do 10 different companies, their top 10 list. But we're going to break it up into 2 weeks because that's a whole lot to talk about.
Too much to talk about.
So we're going to do 5 companies this week. So, the first company we're going to do is Pro Wrestling Noah, which is a Japanese wrestling company that was formed by Mitsuharu Misawa back in the early millennium. And one of the things that Noah suffered from was they lost Kenta, who became Hideo Itami in NXT. So one of the ways that they regrouped for 2015 was they brought Suzuki Gun to the company, which is a stable that was in New Japan that was led by Minoru Suzuki. Consisted of members like Shelton Benjamin, Taka Michinoku, Tai Chi, Davey Boy Smith Jr., the British Bulldog, a couple other people. But yeah, that's one of the main things that was going on with Noah in 2015. So, for my top 10 list of the year, it kind of goes like this. Number 10 is Zack Sabre Jr. versus Katsuhiko Nakajima. At Noah, the first navigation on day 6. Love Zack Sabre. He's great. All of his matches are fantastic, and this was pretty much the same. Number 9 is for the Tag Team Championship. It was Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer versus Chris Hero and Colt Cabana. It was at the event that just took place in December recently at this event called Destiny 2015, which was, I don't know if it's an annual event for them. I believe it is, but it was kind of like their WrestleMania for the year because it was the build-up of Suzuki Gun going against the company.
Okay.
But that was the Tag Team Championship match. Hero and Cabana lost, so that was one of the matches where they were unsuccessful in taking down Suzuki Gun. But it was a really great match. Colt Cabana did athletic stuff that I didn't even know he could do, and Chris Hero.
Yeah,
He's
he is.
always awesome. Number 8 was a heavyweight championship match between Suzuki and Marufuji. Marufuji is the leader of Noah.
Mm-hmm.
He was the main guy going against Minoru Suzuki for the World Heavyweight Championship, trying to take him down. He was actually the guy who was taken down. He was the world champion at the time. Suzuki won the title.
Yeah.
This was their second match where Marufuji was trying to win the title back, and he lost. Out of their 3 matches, I thought this was one of the less impressive ones, but still 8th best match of the year for their company. Number 7 is a tag team match between TMDK, which is Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols. You guys are going to be hearing about them because they are signed to NXT. So they've left Noah at this point, but Shane Haste is injured, so when he comes back from the injury, you'll see him in NXT.
Or is he injured?
I don't know what that means. But this is number 7. It was a tag team championship match against Masato Tanaka, which, if you remember from old ECW days in the mid-90s, if you didn't know he was still wrestling, surprise, he is. He's there. And he was tagging with Takashi Sugiura. Number 6 was a number 1 contendership match for the junior heavyweight title. It was Zack Sabre Jr. again in a match against Taiji Ishimori. They had great chemistry. They were 2 of the best junior heavyweights in that entire company, and it was a great match. Number 5 was a heavyweight championship match between Minoru Suzuki and Takashi Sugiura. It was one of the last attempts anybody made before the final attempt to take down Suzuki Gun, so he lost to Suzuki, but there was an opening performance from the actual woman who sings Minoru Suzuki's theme song, just adding to make it that much more epic, and she had this crazy gown on and this, yeah. It was epic. It was, it reminded you of when the NWO took over WCW and there was just this stable dominating the company. They even held a Suzuki Gun event at Karukin Hall that was similar to like when NWO did NWO Sold Out in WCW, where it was like a stable run pay-per-view.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But number 4 was the other championship match between Suzuki and Marufuji that just happened, where Marufuji finally won the title back. The thing I want to talk about with this match at number 4 is part of the finish in the go-home sequence. You know how people talk about jaw-dropping moments? You know when there are literal jaw-dropping moments? Like, have you ever saw something happen in a match that scares the crap out of you, where your jaw actually drops?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when we saw the streak broken, and I, like, grabbed you guys and could not, like, stop myself from my jaw dropped. That happened in this match. The reason being is because in the go-home sequence, he does the pile driver spiked the way that Austin got paralyzed. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
How you can have them in the position of the Taker's tombstone, but drop down to your butt and have them take the bump on their head between the legs.
Oh, God.
He did that and spiked it.
Oh, God.
It was one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen, and was a literal jaw-dropping moment where I couldn't believe that he didn't kill him. Like,
oh, my God.
insane. Number 3 was also at the Destiny show. It was the Junior Heavyweight Championship match between Taichi and Taiji Ishimori. Just a great match, great Junior Heavyweight match. Very based on the entertainment side of things, more so than the athletics, which was kind of very WWE of them. But he came out, did his whole normal lip sync performance, and had this girl come out and do some crazy dancing with him, and yeah, great match. So number 2 was the other heavyweight championship match between Marufuji and Suzuki at Great Voyage in Tokyo. That was what I believe to be their best match of their feud, and what most people thought was the feud of the year for that stable and the storyline that was going on. But my personal number 1 match of Pro Wrestling Noah was the heavyweight championship match of Minoru Suzuki that wasn't against Marufuji, and I didn't hear a lot of people praise this match. I don't get it. It was one of my favorite matches of any company in the world, and I can't even put it into words, but Minoru Suzuki against Yoshihiro Takayama. Andy, you actually know who Yoshihiro Takayama is. He is the blonde gentleman that starred in Tokyo Tribe, the Shion Sono movie that featured a professional wrestler.
Oh.
Takayama was in this match against Minoru Suzuki as one of Suzuki's World Championship title defenses. Takayama loses a lot of blood in this match, but that's not the only reason why I like it. There's a headbutt that is so brutal that I can honestly say, for anything I've ever seen, it is the worst headbutt I've ever seen anybody take. Oh. It literally sounds like you take 2 bowling balls and just clink them together. You hear their skulls vibrate. Like, it's disgusting. But it was a very hard-fought match. There was a passion coming out of the crowd because of the heat that Suzuki Gun was starting to build, and I don't know, it was a very underrated match and seemed to go unnoticed, but I absolutely loved it, and it was my number 1 match of Pro Wrestling Noah for the year of 2015.
There you have it, folks. Noah in the year 2015, as according to Shane.
So I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, let's do this.
We're going to pass this over to Andrew now?
Andrew.
Is that, yeah, Ring of Honor next?
Andrew.
Ring of Honor.
Your turn.
Oh, man.
You can do it.
It took all week to settle a top 10 of what I believe to be the best pure wrestling company there is out there. And I told Shane this before the show, that I have a New Year's wrestling resolution to watch more NJPW within the next year. But we'll get to that later.
Is it a New Year's resolution?
Oh, my God. Damn it.
You say that, but now you're not watching Wrestle Kingdom tonight.
Listen,
It's tonight.
3
Their
a.m.
biggest show of the year. It's their WrestleMania,
but it's
which we're going to talk about later, but not right now. Go ahead, Andrew.
all right. Without further ado, I'm going to give you guys my top 10 matches of the year for Ring of Honor. It's a combination of their pay-per-views and their TV shows, but most of the matches that I've seen are from their pay-per-views. So I didn't get to watch all of their TV tapings. I wish I did because everything that they put out there is gold. But these are my top 10. These are the cream of the crop. My number 10 match of the year, Jay Briscoe defeating Adam Page on ROH TV. A great grudge match. Jay being his typical aggressive self and absolutely knocking the crap out of Page on TV. Page keeps coming back, though, keeps kicking out everything he gives, eventually loses to the Jay Driller.
Wasn't there a stipulation in that besides the grudge match or no?
I was thinking it was a no DQ, but
Yeah, something like
I
that.
might be wrong. Basically, that match served as what the difference is between a great grudge match in, say, WWE and one in a great wrestling promotion like ROH. I love how violent it can be. Leading to my next match, Moose defeating Cedric Alexander in a no DQ match. These are two big-ass, badass dudes, strong as all hell. Everything it needed to be. They had a great feud, and it was highlighted, this match, by Moose spearing Cedric through a table.
Do you remember what event that was at? Wasn't that recently?
Yeah, that wasn't too long ago. It
Yeah.
It might have been All-Star.
Okay. Yeah,
Might
I
have been
think you're
All-Star
right.
Extravaganza.
Yeah. Moose is picking both of them.
Yeah.
I really like Cedric Alexander, and Moose is getting so much better.
Yeah, and it's a shame that I didn't include either of them on the rest of my list. Spoiler alert.
That's fine. Cedric had one of the best matches of the year last year, which Andy and I went to in Toronto, where he kicked her in the face.
Moose.
Oh
Moose. Number 8.
Number 8 is Red Dragon defeating my Young Bucks to keep their ROH tag titles.
Which is another match that me and Andy saw in Toronto.
I hate
that was
you.
the main event. What event was that at? Red Dragon and Young
I
Bucks.
didn't record that.
Was it a pay-per-view or TV?
Definitely not TV. Definitely not TV.
Okay.
I
yeah,
can't remember
I just can't
which one.
remember.
Everything they do is entertaining in every single way. Everything is
Both?
incredibly. No. Well, I just meant the Young Bucks. I'm sorry.
Oh, because I was going to say both do.
It's not tough for me to go on a tangent about the Young Bucks. Everything they do is great. That alone lands them in the top 10 here because, as you just said, Red Dragon, they're right in the same ballpark. They're all on the same playing field. The reason why this match is number 8 for me, the Young Bucks lost.
Okay.
It
You're
loses.
upset about that, you mean?
I'm still upset about them losing to
No,
Only
Red
Express.
Dragon's good. Actually, Andy, you might not watch Ring of Honor that much, but like I said, they were the main event of the show that we went to. How do you feel about both teams? Because I never really asked you about Young Bucks and Red Dragon. Because Young Bucks are kind of like the it team, and
Yeah.
Red Dragon are just one of my favorite teams, and everybody loves them too.
They're
Like,
not bad by any
How do
means.
you feel about them?
There's too much super kicks.
Too much? You know,
It's
there's
it's
never too much.
You know what? It's because it makes every super kick mean less because you do it so much. So it's like, well, that's not a powerful move anymore. It's just a super kick. So
Not
it's
when
just a
you're-
regular kick.
Not when you're listening to the commentators, though.
Well, yeah, but commentators make it sound like it's like, the second coming of Shawn Michaels every time. Which, what was that company that you showed me? That one wrestler, the English company. The guy came out. And
Oh,
said,
ICW?
ICW.
Yeah.
And they had that glorious line about Shawn Michaels.
Oh, how he could go suck a...
Yep.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Not how I feel about it, but
And also, there was the Hendry Ball, Joe Hendry. Yeah, I'm getting off topic. Ring of Honor.
Oh, God. But we digress a little bit. Young Bucks showing up again in my number 7 match, this time accompanied by my favorite wrestler out there right now, AJ Styles, as the Bullet Club.
You were very aggressive about that.
Yes, I'm so happy. Come on. I'm getting towards number 1, man.
AJ's that good, though.
He really is. And he just proved he can do it in any type of match, even with 2 of the best tag team partners out there. And he joined the Bullet Club and faced off against Okada and Papangi Vice. Sorry. And this was on one of their TV tapings during the summer that I watched. This was also one of the first times I got to see the Young Bucks with my own eyes. So it blew me away at first. And
You just started seeing the Young Bucks this year?
yeah,
Wow.
I know.
That is crazy.
That is great. I should do a top 10 of matches that I haven't seen yet. Well,
Oh my
you should,
God.
I mean, you should.
I mean, like, but they've even been in TNA for a while. Like,
Yeah,
it's just surprising.
I just don't want to TNA.
I know. Who does?
But anyway, regardless, I'm sure there's a name for this move, but the move that I recorded down here, and it involves a triple continuous tombstone finisher wrapped up with a Styles Clash. Now, the Styles Clash at the end has nothing to do with it, but the triple
You're talking about the Meltzer driver.
Meltzer, damn it,
Or the Indie Taker.
Indie Taker.
It depends on what he's doing.
I'm trying to.
If he just jumps off the rope and spikes it, that's the Indie Taker. If he does a front flip and then like splits and lands while he's spiking the tombstone, that's the Meltzer driver. Meltzer drivers are more rare for them to do.
It was definitely the Indie Taker.
Okay.
But it was poetry and motion, man. And the Styles Clash after that, I believe, had 2 super kicks as a part of it. That alone puts it on my top 10 for the year.
I was just looking at a picture of the Bullet Club today in hype for Wrestle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking. I'm like, that is some of the best talent in the world. Like all in just one group. Like the Bullet Club is
One
the
faction.
greatest thing around right now.
Seriously.
Just Kenny Omega, AJ Styles, Young Bucks, like crazy.
Yes, and that is why I am donning the Bullet Club shirt right now.
See? Didn't even know it. Didn't even know it.
Bringing it to number 6 on my list, New Jersey's own Jay Lethal defeats Jay Briscoe to become the TV champ and
No way. Number 6?
number 6. Listen. Everybody's
What?
everybody's got their own. You have to hear me out here, okay?
What? Do you hear the pitch I'm hitting? What?
Shane, I can't.
Why number 6? I would have had that at number 1. Easily number 1.
No, that's not number 1.
What?
But you have
Okay,
to.
I'm super curious because this is the exact moment I was waiting for. I've talked to Andy about this before we ever started doing the podcast. I love to debate about stuff that I would rather us disagree, that I hate when we agree on stuff.
That's boring.
I cannot believe that is at number 6.
Oh, it's at number 6.
Say what? All right, keep going because we need to talk about this.
Yes, Jay Briscoe.
It was the perfect match. It was the best thing they had going for them this year. It had an over year-long storyline.
Yeah, huh?
It was lethal. Like, it was the buildup of their 2 strongest guys for over a year, making them as strong as they possibly could make them, and then having it as a champion versus champion match. 2 guys who shared the same name. They both had their parents in the corner. The wrestling was perfect. He hit that Jay Driller through the Number 6. Okay.
you just sold it for me, Shane.
Number 5.
I really,
Number 5.
I really
Number
don't
5.
have to do anything else. But I do want to say that leading up to the match, Jay Briscoe did say that he would make Jay Lethal go back to being the Black Machismo. I just wanted to leave that in there. That's why it was one of my highlighted matches of the year. Number 5. Maybe this one is higher up because it's more fresh in my mind. Adam Cole defeats Kyle O'Reilly at Final Battle.
That was good.
It
I'm not gonna end it
was
with
a clinic on how to do wrestling holds. And it might be because I'm so deprived of it from watching NXT and WWE, but watching this just fulfilled every itch that I had of what you have to do to put on a good holds match. And these guys, I just again made me convinced that they didn't like each other. And this armbar.
Well, they have a long history with each other as a tag team.
Yeah.
Future Shock. Yeah.
And it just shows the sins of my past for not being aware.
Now, they both have a very bright future for the both of them. I can't believe Adam Cole isn't in NXT already.
Right.
Kyle O'Reilly's been killing it in New Japan and Ring of Honor. And that match was very good. It seemed like the finish kind of got messed up.
The armbar?
Yeah, like the pin.
Yeah, that
He
was
pinned him with his feet on the ropes.
Right,
and
yeah.
His,
yeah.
and it just seemed like Kyle O'Reilly was still supposed to like lift his shoulder up. I don't know. That could just be me being worked.
No, you're not. You're not wrong. It's just that the other great parts of it meant so much more than the bad that I couldn't.
I agree.
But
they're both very good. They've actually had one other match where people thought Cole lost his tooth, but it was just his gum, but he was bleeding from his mouth.
Oh.
And that match was very, very good.
These guys are amazing.
They are.
And Kyle O'Reilly is actually in my number 4 match when he loses to Jay Lethal. This match took me such a long time to watch, mainly because it ended in a Broadway. Which
and how long of a Broadway was it? 1 hour or?
I had 30.
30?
30 minutes, but still, it was.
No, I do remember the match. It was very good.
Another one of those just. For a 30-minute end-to-end match, it was action, bell to bell. It did not end. It did not take a break. It did not, it was just so entertaining. Jay Lethal has become so great. So great.
And Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah. Then there were so many times, this one time especially, I don't have the timestamp or anything, but this a Kyle O'Reilly armbar was so far in tight, so tight that I was convinced this match is over. I was fooled. Jay Lethal, man. Jay Lethal doesn't lose. He doesn't.
He hasn't lost in a really, really, really long time. He could lose tonight against Elgin.
No.
At Tokyo Dome.
No.
Never know.
But if you're right, then you're right. A Broadway, dude. A Broadway. 30.
That was good, though. Where are you at? Number 4, number 3?
That was number 4 for me.
Okay, number 3?
Number 3 is the best super kick party ever. The Kingdom defeats the Addiction and the Young Bucks at ROH's All-Star Extravaganza in a triple threat match.
There was some beautiful super kicks.
The reason why it's top 3 for me is because of how much fun alone it was to watch. These guys are entertainers on the highest level. This is everything that's right with the entertainment side of wrestling. And one of the reasons why it is not top 2 is because it is a tag match, and I hold a higher standard to singles matches.
I could understand that, but do you also agree, though, that if a tag match was that good, that it would be number 1? You know what I mean?
I'd have to be blown away by it.
Right.
Absolutely. I think that I could break my bias. It just might be some stupid stereotype that I have.
I see what you mean.
But this one blew me away with the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
This is the highest ranked match I have from them this year, and I expect nothing less.
I'm dying to hear number 1 and 2 after Lethal. Like, you kind of convinced me. Like, Kyle O'Reilly and Lethal was very good.
Yeah.
I understand that that's, a taste of opinion. But, okay, number 1 and number 2.
All right. Well, admittedly so. Emotions played into the last 2, the top 2. So, number 6 being what your number 1 is. The main difference is because I think I put more of my heart into the top 2, because number 2 is Jay Lethal defeating my boy, the phenomenal one AJ Styles, to retain his World Heavyweight Championship.
All right.
It was so hurtful. It was so hurtful to watch that man go through so much pain. All of the bumps he took on
How sick was that front chest bump that he took through the table?
Yes. It made me sick. That this guy does this like day in and day out to himself.
All right, I'm going to give it to you. Very, very good match, and one of the best ones of the year. And all right, it's number 2.
Number 2, he hits a Pele kick with a broken back.
Man, it's incredible.
My favorite match of the year from Ring of Honor.
Lay it on me.
When Styles becomes the number 1 contender for the ROH Championship at All-Star Extravaganza.
Really?
Defeating Roderick Strong, Adam Cole, and one of my highest risers of favorite wrestlers this year, Michael Elgin. The build-up alone, knowing that the winner, any of these guys is a winner, but the winner would have to face Jay Lethal, is just like, I can't go wrong here. The only thing that I could say that was bad about this match, and it wasn't even that bad, is the length. The only thing. Every single one of these guys does everything perfectly synchronized. It's like they worked with each other one-on-one for months before this, but they didn't. They were thrown together. Not, like thrown together, but favorite match of the year. My heart was in it. My heart came out of it very satisfied. Phenomenal one.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I mean, I remember talking to you about that event. I didn't realize that was your favorite match at the time. I love that Lethal Briscoe match, but good picks.
That was a good match.
Picks. I give it to you. It was fair. That's a fair top 10
All year.
to look back at
That was
the
so much
year.
fun.
There was so much good stuff. You did leave out something important though.
Uh-oh.
New Japan coming to Ring of Honor.
Well,
And a match like Nakamura versus Roderick Strong.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I should include any of that.
I hear you because that's a different promotion and stuff.
And I'd have to go through a lot more stuff to.
So now I think Andy has fallen asleep.
No,
because
I'm still here.
he hasn't spoken in 30 minutes.
Has it been 30 minutes?
No, I don't think so.
Did I take that long?
But
It's
we're-
almost
no, no,
actually
no.
it actually has been almost 30 minutes.
Well, we're going to kind of collaborate more now because we all made an NXT list.
Yes,
we
we
did.
did.
Should we do like all of our 10s, then all of our 9s instead of one person all going at once?
Yes.
Yes, that probably
Andy,
makes the
you
most
go.
sense.
You deserve to.
All right. So NXT is and actually just changed this one while you guys were doing that Ring of Honor thing.
No way.
Yeah.
He called an audible.
I forgot what the match was.
You're a flip flopper.
I changed a couple of them actually while I was sitting here. I'm like I don't trust myself.
Okay. Now we're debating. There was too much solo stuff going on. We're just getting started 30 minutes into the show.
Now we're going to be battling
Okay.
rankings. That's the best
So my number 10 is Finn Balor versus Tyler Breeze at TakeOver Unstoppable.
part.
Number 1 contendership on the line. I loved the entrances. I loved whatever Finn Balor was wearing, and it was a damn good match.
I agree.
And that's it. That's
You know what? I'll spoil this, even though I haven't given away any of the 10. That match is not on mine, but I like that one a lot, and that just barely didn't make the cut.
That would be my 10B, but it is
10B.
not. It is not on my
Is there
top
anything
10.
else you want to elaborate for the fact that me and Andrew have talked for 30 minutes and you
Yeah.
just took up 30 seconds?
Remember the entrances?
I really liked the entrances where the women were shaped like buildings. I believe this is the one where he came out and he had the wings and the spikes on his back.
It is.
And that's amazing.
That's right. He sheds it off and stuff.
No, that's the Finn Balor that's supposed to happen.
Correct.
You need that. Like this Jack the Ripper half demon. Not good enough. I need full demon. Like I think we mentioned on a podcast way back when, like right after this happened, we mentioned about how what is he going to do at WrestleMania, and we said that he was going to come in as a pterodactyl. So I hope that actually still happens somehow.
Pterodactyl.
That's how he enters the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle, and as a pterodactyl.
That would close down the show.
And he just kills the Big Show, and that's how he retires.
Andrew, you want to do your number 10?
Fair enough. My number 10 on the top 10 NXT matches of 2015 was Bayley defeating Nia Jax to retain the women's title at NXT TakeOver London. Everything that Bayley did was great for a type of David versus Goliath thing, even though Nia Jax is rather new to the scene in NXT. But my number one reason for why this match made my top 10 was the crowd. The London crowd. British
Do you want
fans are
to
the
make
best.
an attempt at trying to sing the chant that they were singing?
I would need your guys' help for some oohs and ahs here.
How did it start? Wait, wasn't there the... what was...
Hey, hey, Bailey.
I
I wanna know.
Would you be my
Would
girl?
you be my girl?
Man, we don't sing in unison.
We should have rehearsed.
You know, I swear to God, that was almost my number 10, and it only just barely didn't get
Didn't
written
make the
because I
list.
thought of something else, but that was what I had set as my number 10.
Again,
That
it
is so
might be
funny.
because it's so fresh in my mind. It wasn't that long
It was
ago.
good. It was simple.
Yeah.
Like, when
David
I went back
Goliath.
and rewatched it, a lot of it was headlocks.
Mhm.
But Nia Jax, like you brought up the whole David versus Goliath thing, like Nia Jax is... That's kind of why I brought up the fact, too, that I think that I could be a fan of hers.
Yeah.
Because if she... Like, she looks too green now, but if she could really master the idea that she's a giant that could powerhouse people,
Right.
she doesn't have to do too much, and she could look killer in the ring. You know what I mean?
That's a very good point.
And Bayley got it out of her because Bayley is kind of leading the locker room right now. So I think she just got this amazing match out of Nia Jax, this rookie, when they had an awesome audience to work with, you know, and
Yeah.
good number.
Spoiler alert, that's not the last time Bailey's on the list.
Yeah, obviously.
She may be on a couple of our lists.
She's killed it.
A real stretch there.
Okay, my number 10 is from NXT Brooklyn. It was for the Tag Team Championship. It was where the Vaudevillains won their championship for the first time when they defeated Blake and Murphy. It was also the return of Blue Pants.
Straight from the clearance racks.
The energy was good in this match. I remember by the end of the night, obviously everybody was talking about Bayley and Sasha Banks.
Right.
But I remember when you evaluated the rest of the card, this was one of the strongest matches. And it was probably the best match of either team from anything I've seen from the Vaudevillains in NXT or Blake and Murphy, which I'm not big fans of.
You don't like Barbie?
No, I don't.
Come on, Barbie.
all.
Let's go party.
I totally agree with you. I wanted so badly to put the Vaudevillains on here. I couldn't find a spot, but if I could, that would be the match.
Like I said, Bayley, Nia Jax was my number 10. And then I thought of this match, and I was like, you know what, though? As much as I loved it, and as strong as the chants were for London, I thought that tag match was pretty memorable.
Yeah, hipster's paradise.
Number 9, Andy.
Vaudevillains in Blue Pants versus Blake and Murphy and Alexa Bliss at NXT
Fantastic.
Brooklyn.
By the way, listeners, we have no idea what any of our lists are. We can't
Yeah.
see any of them. We haven't talked about it. This is a surprise to all of us.
This is
so.
great.
I actually am a huge fan of the Vaudevillains just because I like the posing that they do, and I like Simon Gotch. I don't know, something about him. He's really entertaining in the ring.
Now, do you like the Vaudevillains heel or face better? Because they kind of flip-flop throughout 2015.
I liked them heel only when they were going against the Lucha Dragons because it was hilarious.
I
was a
remember.
And they
good
were
match.
making all of those like ridiculous like short silent films.
That was good.
And those were
Yeah,
amazing.
That was.
And that's the only
That was
time
2014.
That was
though.
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only time I liked them heel. I prefer them as face. I feel like Simon Gotch is just too smiley to be a bad guy.
He's
And
got a
I
good
don't
smile.
believe him that angry. Like I liked the whole when like Alexa Bliss was slapping him in the face leading up to this match. Like who's gonna come out and save the Vaudevillains? Like I don't know. There was a lot going into this match, and I just loved it. I love Blue Pants. I have a Blue Pants T-shirt. Blue Pants. Blue Pants. Blue
Blue
Pants.
pants, blue
Blue
pants.
pants.
Now, Andrew, are you going to tell us that your number 9 is that tag match?
Actually, in all seriousness, no. My number 9.
Oh, okay.
What is yours?
The Demon, Finn Balor, defeating Neville at NXT TakeOver Rival. Balor's real coming out party to me, because I'm trying to remember back to when I first watched him, first heard of him, and maybe my memory is that bad, but I can't remember much beyond this. But two high flyers, creative as all heck, going at it in NXT, where they're trying to prove something.
And with the history, their whole history from being from Europe, that they were coming up on the circuit together.
Exactly. They have a backstory that most don't even know about, most of the NXT crowd. I also considered it most of a passing the torch kind of match, because Neville would go on to be called up eventually later in 2015, and Finn Balor yet to do so, but would go on to take Neville's spot as great champion.
And that was a number 1 contender match.
Yeah, that was. And that was before, it was Rival, the one before.
No, that was Rival.
No.
Neville
Yeah, but I
Balor.
mean, Rival was the pay-per-view before, or the event before.
Before what? You're confusing me.
I'm confusing myself.
Okay.
All right, number
Good pick. Good pick.
number 9 for Shane.
Number 9. This was a feud, me and Andy talked about it a couple times, that I had so much optimism for. And it was truly something that I saw so much potential in. But out of all the matches they had, some of them fell flat. this was the best match that they had during their feud or their program. Between Tyler Breeze and Hideo Itami. The best match that I thought they had out of their feud was the first round match of the #1 contendership for the NXT Championship. It was on an episode of NXT TV on January 21st. I saw so much potential in the chemistry between Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze. They're just so good in the ring together. And but like I said, some of the matches fell flat. This one didn't, and everything that I saw in their potential came out in this match.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a peanut butter and jelly situation where it was the yin to the yang and worked out well.
I love PB&J.
How did you guys feel about their program that they had? Did you feel the same way I did? That
I feel like it never reached what it could have reached with them.
Me too, and it sucks because I want to see something happen with them.
Well, now we just have to wait for Hideo to come to the main roster
Exactly.
after his shoulder gets better.
I'm sure that there will be an Itami Breeze match on SmackDown like a year from now.
Ugh. That'd be a downgrade.
But yeah, I love the crap out of that feud, and that match is why. Andy, number 8, Breeze and Itami.
Finn Balor and Neville at Rival.
Oh, there you go.
How about that?
What are the
Cream
chances?
too much.
I just liked that match a little bit more than you did, I suppose.
One spot.
Just a little bit.
Just one little spot.
It's it's because I didn't have Bailey and Nia Jax. So
Yeah.
everything
Mathematically.
got moved up higher. Yep. I don't know. I feel like you said a lot about that match, and I feel like it just was good. It was just an exciting, entertaining match. I mean,
Remember when he
like-
kicked him through the guardrail? He did that running drop kick.
yeah.
And the guardrail went flying. That was
Andy's
cool.
a big fan of the flippity floppies.
I am a big fan of the flippity dippities.
Flippity dippities, that's
The flippity floppities, that's a different monster altogether. But the flippity dippities are my favorite. And there was a lot of flippy dipping. So much flippy dipping.
I look forward to seeing them again.
Good pick.
Number
8. Andrew.
The boss, Sasha Banks, defeats Becky Lynch to retain the NXT Women's title at TakeOver
Ooh.
Unstoppable.
I think Andy's hurting over that one. I know. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I know Andy ranked that one kind of high.
Hey, no harm, no foul. That's why we do these types of things.
But again, number 8 is showing that you appreciated it. So,
Yeah.
what did you like about the match?
I liked like how my last match was my first real look at Finn Balor. This was one of my real first looks at Sasha Banks. I didn't spend most of 2015 as an NXT fan. I would say that I became more of one probably a little after WrestleMania or so. So I'd have to catch up, and I'm
That's still most of the year, though. I mean, Mania's in March.
yeah, that is true. So it was most of the year that I became more engrossed in it, but that was also around the time I became more engrossed in ROH. It's Banks admittedly went into this match saying that she was going to steal the show, and she rightfully did it, and that was just so emblematic of what the Divas division would do in NXT for the whole year. Sasha Banks is the real freaking deal. And Becky Lynch is fluid in the ring too. There's so much potential between every single diva in that NXT roster right now. That was number 8. Unstoppable.
Speaking of the potential of the women's NXT roster, my number 8 pick is the Fatal 4-Way between the NXT women. That was Charlotte as champion. It was when Sasha Banks won the NXT Women's Championship against Bayley and Becky Lynch. Some people would probably have ranked this match higher than I did. I don't know where it lands on your lists, if it even does. I thought it was good. I obviously love that it was the kickstart to Banks' championship run because I do believe she is the greatest of all time, basically. But yeah, it was a good match, good chemistry. I do think, though, that there was a couple other women's matches that were much better than it, and that's why they're going to rank higher, but that's my number 8 pick. Andy, you're number 7.
Let's do this.
Okay. So my number 7 is the... I wish I had the music playing, because I really want
It's
to.
all right. I'll throw it in post-production. I have no idea what you're humming.
It's the NXT. It's the big cast. And
It is.
and
Oh.
It's like a mandolin. You soft. It's Enzo and
SAWFT.
yeah, it's Enzo and Colin Cassidy versus Blake and Murphy. Only because I like them making fun of them.
What was that?
So
that was
much.
one of the takeovers?
I think it was just a regular NXT. Like
Might
the
have
one,
been.
the one I
Okay.
chose in particular was on the, I believe, the June 17th.
Yeah,
I think it was a mixed tag match. I think Enzo and Cass, they ended up coming out victorious, which I liked because they don't see them win a lot.
They do not.
So
So
stupid.
it's nice seeing them win, and then they still get to do their whole like shtick about being great and them being soft.
They're so over, man.
And Blake had like Barbie hair for that match. So there was a lot of good moments in that match, and I just love Enzo's great. He's just really, really great, and more people need to see him do his like little. He does the thing with the shoulders, and he's just kind of like.
And Carmella with her moonwalk.
She does the moonwalk now, all the time.
And Big Cass is 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that.
You
You
Cannot
can't
teach
teach
that.
that. Wow.
You can't.
The second, number 7 of the Chops and Pops crew for
7.
NXT. Kevin Owens absolutely annihilates Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Rival. Not much to say here. He sent a message.
So that was Zayn Owens 1, or Zayn Owens 2, or Zayn Owens 3?
The one where he killed him.
Where they had to like stop the match.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it was so violent.
Yes.
Must have been 3.
there's just keeps.
Oh, that was 2?
That was 2.
Wait, what was 3 then? Because didn't
They
Zayn
haven't-
leave after them?
Yeah, I thought he hasn't come back since then.
3 was when he fought back.
Oh, okay.
That's when he actually like just.
Oh, and
Wait,
that was
that
the
wasn't
match in
Rival?
May.
Yeah, that was like right after the John Cena.
Rival
one.
was February.
Oh,
May
no, okay.
was yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those that I had to go back and watch, but he sends a message.
See, I didn't rank that match because I've seen them do so much with each other in the ring that watching Owens just beat him up for 15 minutes wasn't anything to me.
Oh yeah,
But I mean, it made him a star.
yes,
You know?
that's what's got it up there. The trend so far, coming out parties to me in the NXT.
You just
top
love
10
it.
for me.
You just love it. People coming out, having a good time. That's what you're all about. It's party time. Party boy Vitolo. That's you.
Party boy Vitolo.
You know what? There's not much else to say about Kevin Owens in this match. Like Shane just said, it was annihilation. He did what he had to do. He killed his friend.
He did.
Well, speaking of there not being much else to say, just to keep things moving, my number 7 pick is the finals of the number 1 contendership for the NXT Championship Tournament, which is what we talked about already because it was Finn Balor versus Adrian Neville at NXT Rival. So, Andy,
Wow.
your number 6.
My number 6 took place during the semifinals of the Dusty Road Tag Team Classic. It was Baron
Oh,
Corbin
your
and
boy.
Rhino
Your boy.
versus Jordan and
Your boy,
Chad Gable.
No.
Chad Gable.
Andy does love him some Chad
Gable.
Can't have this match on the list for
No.
the simple reason of Baron Corbin.
That's why Baron.
Hey,
that's
it
why
was
it's
a
on.
good match. It was one of Baron Corbin's best matches, right?
Dare I say his best match?
Yeah,
And
I agree.
Gable hit that Chaos Theory German suplex thing, and he has no right doing that to a man as big as Baron Corbin, and he did it masterfully.
Well, a good point. A good point.
And Gable is always ready, willing. And Gable. Towel. If they don't start selling those, it's a shame.
They're gonna sell a lot of them when they do.
They're
Andy will buy one.
I will.
They will be in your bathroom as a hand towel.
Yep.
I see it. Okay, where are we at? Number 6? Is
Yeah.
that what
We
we're
are number
doing?
6.
And-
Yeah. Okay, this next match could have been so much higher up on my list if it had lived up to expectations going into it. It is Finn Balor beating Samoa Joe at TakeOver London. How much have we wanted a match like this to happen in the past? Just looking at the two guys, their histories, what we've watched them do before. This one, left a little bit on the table. I expect more the next time we see them, but I almost like this match better than any of the any other match that I feel like Joe has had since he joined NXT. That's for sure. But they are definitely two of the best wrestlers in NXT right now. I wish nothing but the best for Joe. I just hope he gets used the right way, which has been my problem since he's been introduced.
See, just being honest, I didn't like that match at all, really. And, I mean, I'm guilty of not really being a big fan of Samoa Joe to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree it was probably one of Joe's better matches. I thought the ending was kind of sudden. He just did the double stomp out of nowhere, and it was just like, oh, I thought it would have taken more to take out Joe. But
And especially because there were a few false finishes in that one that didn't make sense with it ending the way it did.
Yeah, I don't know. There were a couple main events that Balor did that I thought could have been better, you know.
Is it his fault?
Well, I don't know, because I said I didn't really like Samoa Joe to begin with, and the other one I thought was Owens, that ladder match in Brooklyn. I didn't think that was as good as it could have been. But, I mean, we could talk about that if that ends up on a list. So, yeah, that was your 6? Right?
Yes, that was my number 6.
My number 6
Go Shane.
is the Iron Women match, Iron Woman match between Bayley and Sasha Banks. Again, a match that you would think on paper would be ranked a lot higher. I thought that there was just a couple low points of the match, like when they botched and Sasha Banks landed on her head. That kind of knocked it down a little bit for me. I thought in terms of praising it as like a turning point in women's wrestling that the Brooklyn match was a little bit more organic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That it was kind of just, it was that moment as opposed to where they kind of forced it, where it was set up to be the main event in the Iron Women match, you know?
Yeah.
But with that being said, I absolutely loved it, and it's obviously on my list. I'm just saying why. Some people would probably rank that as their match of the year. For me, that's why it's as low as number 6. Ripping the headband off the little girl and making, her upset. That was a crazy moment.
Beautiful.
Yeah, everybody thought was pretty funny. But good match overall, though, but not as good as it could have been, I guess. That's my number 6. Number 5, Andy, getting to the top half.
Number 5 is Charlotte versus Sasha versus Bayley versus Becky at TakeOver Rival.
Why did you like it?
It was really nice seeing them all work together. I feel like it just flowed really well, where a lot of times you see those kind of matches and like most of the people are asleep most of the time, and that was the same here, but it was exciting when everyone was asleep, and there was so many false finishes that it
by
was just
asleep
great.
You just mean when somebody's been had a maneuver put on them and they're selling
on the side of the ring,
selling outside the ring, which is an art form to like a fatal 4-way match. You know what I mean?
You have to know when to intervene, and I think they all did it wonderfully. Like everything that happened in this match, like Becky almost won it, and then Sasha pinned. Or no, was it Charlotte hitting the figure 4 or the figure 8 on Becky, and then she pinned her?
Yes.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
It was a good finish.
And I just loved it. I thought that was a great way for Sasha to get her first title.
Now, do you also rank it higher on your list because of the historical factor of the fact that they consider them the 4 horsewomen, that this was their match in a fatal 4-way together, or is it just, I liked it, and it's ranked
I didn't
high?
realize they were the 4 horsemen at the time.
Oh,
I just really liked the match.
Gotcha.
I didn't find out about the whole 4 horsewomen thing until, like, Bayley was going for it, and I didn't realize that was a thing.
Just as a side note, and I want to ask you, because you're a huge NXT fan, do you think that the 4 horsemen thing was kind of forced with Becky Lynch in there? Because as an NXT fan, didn't you notice that Alexa Bliss was the original woman that was making a name for herself whenever the other 3 were? And then Becky Lynch was kind of brought on later.
She came
that
out
if
of
there
nowhere.
were 4 horsewomen, I thought Alexa would have had the 4th spot.
Wasn't Becky Lynch injured up until that point?
She did get injured at one point. I don't remember when
but
it was. Or
debuted, had a couple matches, became heel with Sasha.
Dyed her hair orange.
And then became the Becky Lynch that we know and love. And then...
But what happened with Alexa?
I don't know. I don't know what
Tell me, Andy.
They had different
because the
plans.
Sparkle Splash isn't good enough.
Yeah, I guess
that's the Sparkle Splash and her being happy wasn't good. So now that she's evil Bliss,
Evil Sparkle,
I guess everything's okay. Even though they still call it the Sparkle Splash, even though she's just like Freddy Krueger now. So I don't get it.
Andrew, your top half.
5.
My number 5 might sound familiar. Shane's at number 6. Bailey defeats Sasha Banks in 30
We're
minute
agreeing
Iron
way too
Women
much.
match.
Our lists are pretty similar so far.
It's history, dude. It's
Yeah.
history. This match was history. First women's main event in WWE special event history. Banks' rematch. And the crowd made this one great for the simple fact that there were so many pauses, I think. There were unnecessary pauses. 30 minutes, I get it. You're going
You
want
have to pace yourself, but it could
Right.
ruin the entertainment factor.
If you were really going to nitpick it, I would say that there were too many just stare downs between the two, especially after what transpired their first match. But it was great. They did everything that they succeeded with the first time around and made it look great too. These are two of the best women wrestlers of all time. And we're getting to watch them create such beautiful harmony. Number 5.
Number 5, my top half is, you know what? I brought up the fact that I didn't really appreciate the ladder match between Owens and Balor in Brooklyn. However, I did appreciate a match that they had together from this year because it was the week of WrestleMania. And it was the Wednesday of NXT television before WrestleMania this year on March 25th. There was an NXT championship match between Kevin Owens and Finn Balor. I could be wrong, but I think it was Finn Balor won that number 1 contendership tournament. Yeah, because he beat Adrian Neville and he got a title shot. This was his title shot against Kevin Owens. Their chemistry in this match was off the charts, and they seemed to really gel with each other, and that's why I got excited about the ladder match. But I didn't like the ladder match, and I thought this match was great. And it's one of those matches that I think also could be underrated and overlooked. So if you don't remember it that well, I suggest you go back, watch it on the network. It was the March 25th episode, like I said. And, yeah, just really great match. Very underrated.
Well said.
Andy, number 4.
Number 4. Bailey versus Sasha Banks at Brooklyn.
No
What?
way.
What?
Number 4.
4?
Andy
Number
just
4.
dropped the bomb.
This is happening.
Where's Funk Flex?
Yeah.
What?
No.
Number 4.
I mean, I liked the match. I just didn't like it as much as other matches with
I love it.
female wrestlers.
I love that he's doing this. I love it.
I mean, it was great.
ballsy,
It really
Andy.
was good. I mean, personally, I like the Brooklyn one way better than the Iron Woman match.
Mm-hmm.
I thought.
Wait, but you haven't said the Iron Woman match yet. So the Iron Woman match didn't make your top
No.
10.
No, it's a match.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was good. I mean, I liked everything that happened in the match, and I thought Brooklyn was a great crowd, and I liked it. There's a lot of good stuff.
There are people that think it's the greatest women's match of all time, and it made number 4 on
Yeah.
their NXT list.
High
That's
standards.
not
I
my
love it.
favorite women's match of the year.
Okay.
I loved it.
But yeah, I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't number 1. It was number 4.
All right, fair. Number 4, Andrew.
I think I'm going to have to call a last-second audible. I'm going to switch my 3 and 4 here
Can't
because
do that.
Shane's done such a good job in the past few minutes
On selling you on matches.
on selling me on this
I'm
one fact.
passionate about these lists. I gave this some thought to where I wanted to debate. I thought that if you guys had a list of 10, that we would be nitpicking at numbers to defend what was really, truly great.
My number 4
Hmm.
is the ladder match.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
What
love
did you like about it? Convince me. Sell me.
There's 2 things that made this match going into it one of my favorite of the year before I even watched it. And I knew going into it the only reason I could disgrace it was if they ruined something, if they screwed something up. And that is Kevin Owens' aggression in a ladder match. Had me feeling like this is what he needs to beat somebody like Finn Balor, who was so pushed far beyond the moon that it's like impossible to get him back. This was something that I was very much looking forward to. Not enough usage of the ladder, no coup de grace from the top of the ladder, but for me it was everything that a high flyer versus an aggressive badass like Kevin Owens could have been, and I understand now why I had to switch it with my number 3 is because, like Shane said, it left some to be desired compared to what my number 3 is.
So you bumped it down a spot.
I did.
Is what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to agree with me. I'm just...
No, you made
I'm
me realize.
making my points.
You made me see the light.
Okay. Number 4 is, again, a match that I might say kind of got overlooked or underrated, but most people have been ranking it pretty high on their best of the year lists, so I think some people are paying attention. Number 4 is the NXT Women's Championship match that took place on TV on July 15th between Sasha Banks and Charlotte. It was the last match that they had together before getting called up to the main roster. They had already appeared on the main roster, but this match was taped and aired a couple weeks after that. They cried in the ring afterwards. But one of the best compliments that I could give it that you two might not really know, but maybe one of our listeners would kind of get, is that if I had to compare it to anything, the match between Sasha and Charlotte was the equivalent to what Drew Gulak and Biff Busick have been doing on the indie scene. Some people are either going to scoff at that or totally get what I'm saying. Between like the chain wrestling, the submission wrestling, and again, just I rank it high too for the history that these women have created together, because you could talk about the 4 Horsewomen or what Bayley's doing or whatever, but I truly do feel like the feud between Sasha and Charlotte was the kickstart in a lot of ways, even though you could also talk about Charlotte and Natty and all that.
Yeah.
But I just think it was a very emotional closing to put a bow on, everything that both those women accomplished in NXT. And just overall, the match itself was unbelievably great to watch. So that's why I ranked it as high as number 4.
You know what I have to say about that comparison you made in there?
What's that?
It was amazing.
Amazing!
Shout out to Drew Gulak.
Andy, number 3, we're hitting the threshold. I consider the top 3 as like your 5-star matches of the year. Number 3.
The Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So, obviously it's not Bayley versus Sasha Banks. It's Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens at Beast in the East, which I'm considering an NXT match because
No,
it was
I
the
do
only
too.
NXT
That
match on that card.
Yes, even though it was a WWE
Yeah.
show, that's an NXT match.
There was everything about that match was just amazing. The way
It was a work of art.
Kevin Owens came out and he threw the flowers. Finn Balor had the cool
streamers.
The streamers were awesome. The demon symbol and the demon, like the symbols on his back were amazing. Just the match had so much.
Well, his history too of Japan, of working in New Japan, building his career.
It felt great.
Yeah.
It felt like epic, even though that wasn't the last match of the night, and it was a stupid tag match.
It wasn't just epic too. It also felt like this special moment in time.
It
That
did.
like you could hold another Beast in the East in 2016.
Right.
It's not going to be what that moment was. You know what I mean? And for us as viewers, the idea that for the first time ever, the WWE was airing something live that, hey, stay up till 3, 4 a.m.
Yep.
and watch a live Tokyo show.
I think I saw it at 7 in the morning.
It was a little
watching it.
later. Yeah.
I was like waiting to go fishing, and I watched this in the morning with my dad, and I watched it on my phone, and it was amazing. It was just I can't say enough good things about that match.
4th of July of 2015.
Memorable for you.
Good
for
number
that.
3.
Mine's memorable for a different reason.
All right, Threshold. Andrew, number 3.
This is the one I had to switch out for my number 4. Number 3 for me are my 2 favorite divas in NXT, and their best match on NXT for me. Bayley defeating Becky Lynch for the number 1 contendership. This was back in August.
Interesting pick.
Yeah, I love their chemistry more than any of the other 2 divas that I've seen on NXT. And again, I think this has to do with my heart being in it because they're 2 of my favorites.
Okay.
I love what they do. And I went into that thinking, this is Becky's chance. But if Bayley does it, I'm okay with that.
Right.
It was win-win. It was win-win, and each of them are so talented. Everything they do, I don't think Becky's perfect as a wrestler. I don't. I think she's like a. I don't know how to even compare her because I still think she's better than any of the ones I saw growing up as a kid. But she's up there. Bayley is the best thing going for them right now, and what they put on just a regular old NXT blew me away.
Speaking of underrated and, overlooked, I am so surprised you picked that.
Uh-oh.
That was a TV match that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, and for you to rank it at number 3 is pretty high.
There was a lot of motion put into it too, because obviously the winner would go on to face Sasha, and
Yeah.
so you
And that was the build up to the Brooklyn match, right?
Exactly.
'Cause that was
Exactly.
was wild. I remember that.
Oh yeah,
shattering
didn't that
the-
match kind of get stiff for a
She had,
Bailey
like-
match? Like not stiff,
Right.
but I mean, you know,
Well, I
It's
mean,
tougher for a
like
women.
like hard forearms. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't Becky have her in like the disarmer, and then like there was a quick roll up, like a small package, and that's how it was won? It was like quick.
Yes, and
I was
that's what
very
was so
upset.
fitting for it, is that if there was any way for that match to end, I was happy it was like that, because it wasn't demeaning for either one. It wasn't like one's clearly better than the other. That's what had me having such hopes for Becky going out of it.
That
I
it was
think-
so even.
Yeah,
Mm.
it was definitely even. But even since then, it seems like Becky's kind of dropped off. I think they kind of shoved
I
her
think
for
so.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
but
Unfortunately.
Becky is the only face left in the WWE as a female. She's the only female wrestler that's a face.
Wait, what about
Well, Natty, but she's not on TV anymore.
Natty's not even.
Yeah.
She's not a thing anymore. And
Yeah,
she's
you're
like-
right. Wow, I didn't realize that.
She's
All
the
the divas
only
are heel.
face.
Wow. Wow.
The only face.
Crazy.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's why I love her.
Well, speaking of Becky, my number 3 is Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch at NXT Unstoppable. Thought the match was fantastic. I
Mhm.
thought one of the things that made it so great was it was how Becky Lynch made a name for herself. It was the first match she had where she dyed her hair Nickelodeon orange, I would call it, while she also had a match in Orlando, Florida, which is kind of funny. But yeah, with her Nickelodeon orange hair, she proved herself in the ring, and I think that for how quick they pushed her, this was the first match where she was in front of an audience where I think she sold herself to the audience, that the audience bought into her. And one of my favorite matches of the year, but obviously not the favorite. So.
I remember the NXT TV one, that, or just the regular old taping one that I.
Well,
my
that was with
number 3.
Bailey. This one was the Sasha
Yeah, no, I
Banks
just
title
mean
shot.
for a Becky
Mm.
Lynch.
Just great chemistry, again, with the great submission wrestling. She dropped her on that suicide dive, but she was working her arm, so I let that slide. And, yeah, just good match. Number 2, Andy.
Number 2.
This is exciting.
I actually looked it up because there actually was no Zayn Owens 3.
Yeah, I
was
didn't
wrong.
think so. I
They
thought
never
it was
got to
just,
a 3.
Yeah.
It was
There
two.
was the first one where Owens killed him and they had to stop the match, and then there was the second one, which happens to be my number 2.
Hey!
It's Zayn and Owens 2. It was an
Amazing.
8-minute match.
Yeah,
It started off with Sami Zayn getting his butt whooped, and then he finally started to fight back, and then it was really great, and it was like it felt, because you saw him just get destroyed by Kevin Owens, and you've just been seeing him get beat and beat and beat by Kevin Owens. So seeing him finally fight back, you're like, oh my God, this is it, and I could feel myself getting so amped up and so ready to finally see like Sami Zayn get what is rightfully his, the NXT title, and then he gets pop-up powerbombed onto his shoulder on the side of the ring, and then they have to like stop the match, and he just keeps beating him up. And then back then there was this feeling of unpredictableness, and who runs out to save him? Samoa Joe. No idea about Samoa Joe at all in my head. I was like, oh my God, this could be great.
Yeah.
That was a
Who
great
is Samoa
moment, yeah.
Joe? Oh my God.
And then you learn better.
Yeah.
But now,
But there was such wonderment and magic.
but I mean, it was only 8 minutes.
It was.
Yeah.
That still did it for you?
That
'Cause
did it
didn't-
for me.
It didn't do it for me. And 2 is so high. That's
2 is pretty.
It is.
It beat Brooklyn.
okay.
It did. I really just love Sami Zayn.
Do like the flippity dippities.
It's not even his flippity dippity. I love the blue thunder bomb. I love the hell of a kick. I love the diving through the corner tornado DDT.
Oh yeah.
And I think that even with his hurt shoulder, he still put on quite a physical match against Kevin Owens, even if it was only 8 minutes. And I look forward to a day when I can see them fully, like 100%,
100%. Yeah.
fighting.
They both have a great future out of them.
Okay. You sold me a little bit. Still not my pick, but you sold
No.
me. I believe in your choices. Andrew, number 2.
I feel like there's only 2 matches that Shane and I didn't mention. That's just me. I feel like for
We
NXT.
might have the same picks.
It's possible.
My number 2, in 9 out of 10 categories, this match was perfect to me. And it was Finn Balor beating Kevin Owens for the NXT title in Tokyo.
Mm.
Like you mentioned before, Andy, everything about the charisma being brought out of these guys by the Japanese crowd was so spot on. it was like for that night alone, for that match alone, wrestling was once again wrestling in the WWE, and both performers weren't performers. They were competitors. 9 out of 10 categories, I said, I'll name the one thing that it didn't do for me was the length. I think it was too short. Everything else was perfect. A few things that I will mention about Kevin Owens really quickly is his attention to the crowd. And him saying, I hate this stupid country and everyone in it. Taking the flowers that he was handed before the match and throwing them, launching them onto the entranceway. And then even after the match, when he lost, and they still had that handshake. Come on, the code of honor, right? No, he snubs him. Walks
He's
out of the
a
ring.
disrespectful man.
Perfect in every way.
Hey, guess what? Surprise, number 2, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor at Beast in the East. Just the only thing I'll add is that it truly was perfect in pretty much every single way to me, and was one of my match of the years, period, of any company. The only thing that made it number 2 on my list is for how strong my number 1 is, which I'll get to in a minute. So, Andy, your number 1 pick, match of the year
What was
for
your favorite
all
match?
of NXT.
What do you got? Your favorite thing?
So my favorite match of the year for NXT was...
Drum roll, hold on.
It was Sasha versus Becky Lynch at TakeOver Unstoppable.
Hi-yo!
There was so much that I felt was told between the two of them throughout that match. I know that there was like the botch on the outside, but I feel like that because of the storytelling of her working the arm so much, I feel like that wasn't even a botch. I feel like that was just doing what Finn Balor can't do. No matter how much you hurt Finn Balor's leg, he will always climb to the top and hit that stupid coup de grace. It's a great move.
Watch
great
it, buddy.
But
Watch
he
it.
shouldn't be
Stupid
able to
coup
hit
de
that
grace.
move. He shouldn't. If you take out his leg, he shouldn't be able to climb up and jump. He should jump, and his leg should snap in half, and then he should be dead. And I feel like the way it works for them, especially with Becky Lynch's, one of her moves is the disarmer, and that's it just looks brutal as all hell as a submission move, and the bank statement is brutal as all hell, and there was emotion. I got teary-eyed. I felt like it felt like I was watching Sami Zayn win the title from Neville back in December. I got real emotional, and I was really behind her. And the package they did beforehand that showed like the history of Becky Lynch and how she came up, and she's crying, and it's just like way dead serious. And I like that more than Bayley and Sasha, only because from an entertainment standpoint, I feel like Becky Lynch conveys emotion better in front of the camera than Bayley does. I think technically speaking in the ring, I think Bayley is a tremendous athlete, but I think that Becky tells a better story.
Okay.
And that's why it is my number 1 choice.
Loved it.
You were very passionate about that match all year long.
I love that match.
That's what makes it such a great number 1 for you, Andy.
All year since it happened. That's been it.
Okay. Andrew, drum roll. It is
My favorite
his
match
number 1 pick
of
for
the NXT 2015 is any one of Baron Corbin's matches.
Hey!
I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. It's Bayley.
Vince Russo swerve.
It's Bayley beating Sasha, the Boss Banks, for the women's title at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I'm just going to read what I have written down. It's one sentence. We already talked about all the great parts about this match. The build-up, the fans, the spots, the length, the emotion, what it meant to have the match of the night be a Divas match at such a strong event. Everything about this match was perfect, and it will go down in history as one of the best matches ever in NXT.
It has an argument to be GOAT.
Of all time.
It has an argument to be GOAT.
Oh. It has an argument.
And that's my lead-in. My number 1 is the same. Me and Andrew ended up picking the same number 1 and number 2 for the same reasons, too. I think we both agree, even though you could nitpick and find that one reason that that you could hold against Balor and Owens.
Yeah.
It was a work of art, and it was perfect in almost every way. Bayley and Sasha Banks is an argument for one of the greatest of all time women's matches. It's one of those moments where you have magic, and you can't put that into words and describe it, and other people in the industry have talked about it before, about how there's just magic in the air in moments like that where the audience just gets so emotionally invested and the energy is high and there's a story behind it and everyone's hitting things on point and you're on your A game, and
It was like
it was just perfect.
reminiscent to me
It's so
of
good.
of Mania 30. It really was how it ended.
In what way?
Just Daniel
with
Bryan.
Daniel Bryan, like
Oh, the
Bayley's
redemption
moment.
story?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was more redemption. I think Bayley was more like I'm supposed to be here. Like I should have never been left behind.
And I just think Sasha Banks is on this whole different level of women's wrestling, and then when you throw in the mix of Bayley being this perfect version of what a babyface should be,
Yes.
but doing it in a way that's evolving women's wrestling and women's characters. And
Number one
it's
match.
just we could go on and on and on. There's so many things perfect about it. Highly believe in it being number one. But as much as we could disagree with Andy, even though me and Andrew picked it, we all agree on one thing. Women's
wrestling.
had the best match
Yeah.
of NXT for this year.
How about that? Way to go, women.
You know,
And Sasha Banks was in every
yeah,
one of our
Sasha
matches.
Banks-
So
Sasha Banks is the winner.
killing
She's
it.
the boss.
she wins.
MVP.
She could have my bank statement.